What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about emulation, where to find it, how to set it up, all that good stuff. I just want to start by making a quick note that I cannot tell you where to find ROMs to emulate. That's up to you. I personally make copies of every game I own. That way I can emulate them and save the physical hardware for posterity, or I'll die and my wife will sell it off for dirt cheap. Either way, I emulate most of my games. But if you do a quick Google search, you can probably find out where to get those ROMs. Same as the BIOS files. You need to find those on your own. That being said, we will talk about when you do have ROMs and BIOS files, what to do with them. I was also told by a listener that I'm kind of boring, I guess. Not laughing, not making jokes, stuff like that. And in my defense, I'm a father of 3 kids. I work a long day, most days at work. I come home and I do my stuff late at night because they're generally asleep. Most of the time they're not. And I'm pretty tired. But I took that constructive criticism and I chugged a whole can of Diet Dr. Pepper before I started this so I can feel it just surging through me. And I quickly reported him for hate speech. So let's start the video. My emulation program of choice is Retroarch. If you go to www.retroarch.com, you can find all the information you need on this program. Go to the download tab, and it has a list of supported platforms, and this can be downloaded on a lot of platforms. It has all your Windows back to 95, it has ME, Vista, XP, all that good stuff. You have Linux, you can put it on a Raspberry Pi, Android, iOS. You can put it on your Xbox, a lot of the PlayStation platforms, also some Nintendo platforms as well. You can use your Steam link and also as a web browser if you choose. But we're going to go to Windows 10 Installer 64-bit. Click on that. We're going to save it into our download file. And once it downloads, we will minimize this screen and open up our download folder. Okay, now I'm going to drag it to the desktop. Close this folder. Double click it, get it going. It's going to install itself. I'm going to say yes, agree, next, next. And then I'm going to click DirectX for it to make sure I have the appropriate program to run this. Now it's going to download. It takes a bit, not too long, maybe a minute or two, but we're going to cut through this pretty quick. Now at some point, you're going to get a prompt for the DirectX download. And when you get that, make sure you unclick Install the Bing bar. It is just not a fun thing to have on your computer, so do not install it. Click Next. Let it finish up. All right, we're done. Installation complete. Close. This is going to finish up. Okay, we're going to tell it to close and to run the program. And the first time it pops up, you're going to get this grayish brownish menu. I'm not a fan of this default menu. Some people love it because it reminds them of the Windows operating system. I do not. So I am going to change the default menu. In order to do that, we're going to go to Settings. Well, we would if the idiot in the keyboard would do it. There you go. Settings. We're going to go to Drivers. We're going to go down to Menu. And right now it's on Ozone. But we want to change that to XMB, which is going to be the bottom selection. Now, if you are accustomed to the PlayStation menu this will be second nature. And then what you want to do is you want to actually go to main menu, not settings, and close Retroarch. Quit, actually. And then once you quit it, open it back up. And you now have this blue menu with the ribbon in the back, and I like it. So we're going to go down to Online Updater because you want to update everything first before you start running everything. You're going to update your core info files, and the cores are the programs that run the games. You're going to update assets. Assets is probably the longest loading file of these four, but it's not that long in all honesty. So you can see on the bottom, it downloaded it now. It's extracting it, and it's cranking along at a pretty good clip. All right, once we're done, it'll do a quick reset, enlarge the screen again. Okay, go down to controller profiles, and you probably want to do that every month or so because more and more profiles are being uploaded. Then go to update databases, and that one's quick too. Okay, those are the four that you need to download, in my opinion, in order to get this thing running the most up to date. So we're going to go to core to back to online updater, and we're going to go to install core. Sorry, core downloader is what I meant to say. I'm getting ahead of myself. You're going to go to core downloader, and these are all the cores for the emulators that you can run. Now, I already had Atari 2600 installed. That's why you had the hashtag, but we're going to install that and 3 others. Now, some of these systems have multiple cores associated with them. Some games, particularly N64 games, there are certain games that will run on one core and certain that will run on the other core. So you'll see I download 2 different cores for the N64 just because I know from use that I'm going to need 2 different cores. And we're going to get that. We're going to get a, yeah, so you got Mupen 64 Plus and Parallel N64. Those are the 2 I download. I've yet to find a N64 ROM that will not play on either one of those. After this, we'll go get the Super Nintendo or the Super Famicom core. And I like SNES 9X current. And then we're going to go down and get the PlayStation core. There's all your Genesis cores, a lot of different cores, and they're always being updated. It's pretty cool. PCSX Rearmed is my personal favorite PlayStation core. Now, if you have games that it will not play, you want to do the Beetle PSX HW. That one will pick up the very few PlayStation games that Rearmed won't. So now we have our cores. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our import content folder, and we're going to go down to scan directory. And then we're going to find where our ROM's at. So the C drive, we'll go to users, going to go to my profile, Lazy Peon, no relation to the Lazy Peon, just what I named it without realizing it. And then we're going to go down to desktop. There we go. And ROM folder. And now there's 4 different ROMs in this folder. I am just going to tell it to scan the entire directory, and it'll scan, or actually 5 ROMs. It'll scan, you see 0, 5 being scanned. Boom, they're scanned. Perfect. Now we're going to back out of this, and you'll see the controller icons have now appeared for whatever systems we had ROMs for. We have the N64 controller, the Atari 2600, the Super Nintendo, and a PlayStation. So this is a search option. You can search for whatever game you want. Sometimes I don't think I've ever used it, but I guess it's decent. We're going to go to N64. Let's play Bust a Move 99 because I like that one. And because there are 2 cores associated with the N64 now, when you first tell it to run the game, it's going to ask you which core do you want to set it as. And I will inevitably set it as the parallel core, the one on the bottom. And once you set it once, that game, it will be remembered, and it'll always be associated with that core. You push run, and there you go. We don't have a rumble pack, so when asked for a rumble pack, just skip it. Looks good, sounds good, as always. Little title game. There you go, some creepy art. I don't play it for the visuals, mind you. I thoroughly love puzzle games, and this is one of them. But anyway, you have all your different options, number of players, difficulties, and we're going to take the A route. And you can see this thing plays pretty flawless. There you go. I'm somewhat of a savant when it comes to this game. At least that's what I tell myself. So it looks good. We're going to push the home button, and we're going to bring up the home menu and get out of this, back out. And we're going to try to run a PlayStation game. And I'm going to show you a little issue here, but I'll also show you how to fix it. So when we start up the PlayStation, it's going to ask us what core we want to associate. There's only one. There you go. We push run, and nothing happens. The screen is going to go blank, and a lot of times Retroarch will actually crash. The problem is with PlayStation, you need BIOS files, and there's a couple other systems on here that you need to find BIOS files. I cannot tell you where to find them, but if you do a simple Google search, you can probably find them on your own. So we're going to close this down because I have BIOS files already on my screen right there. We're going to open up my program folder. I'm going to go to Retroarch. Then we're going to go down to System. And I'm just going to drag those two BIOS files into the System folder. And once those are in there, I will just close this and I will restart Retroarch. Full screen. And we'll go back and try to play that game again. All right, there you go. It's loading up. Boom, Activision. So if you run into that problem with the game just stays black, or sometimes you'll get a screen that says BIOS files missing, you need to find the appropriate BIOS files and put them in the system, and it'll run. There you go. Runs just like it always has, slightly better. Homeboy wants a mug of ale. Says he's going to reward the bartender, but we don't want to know exactly what he'll do for a mug of ale. So we are going to just close this down. And there you go. And one more thing I would suggest, we are going to go to settings and change a couple settings real quick. I'm going to go to input, and I like to change the number of players down to maximum users down to 2. If you ever have a 4-player game and you want 4 people playing, you can bump it back up to 4. But I also go to hotkeys, and I'm going to do my menu toggle gamepad combo. Always I put it to select and start. It's too easy to hit a home button and inadvertently get out of the game. So when there's 2 different buttons involved, it's a little more secure in my opinion. But that's it. That's really all you have to do to get it going, and that's it. That's the end of the video, really. All right. Well, that's how you set up Retroarch. That is personally my favorite emulation program. If you guys are interested in other emulators, we've got separate emulators for the Wii, for the GameCube, for the Sega Saturn, the Dreamcast, all that good stuff. If that sounds like something you'd like to know how to do, let me know. Send me an email at retrobengaming@gmail.com, and I will look into that and make a video. Also, if there's any steps that weren't quite clear, please let me know. I'll help you work through them. But other than that, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you can get it working and relive some of your childhood memories. You guys have a great week and keep on gaming.